you are listening to the Kinetic Man Podcast. I'm Stuart.
And I'm David, and we want to walk with you on the journey to living a life defined by uncommon action that is full of purpose, adventure, and meaningful relationships. Our goal is to refine our why while helping you find yours, and together achieve our best and highest purpose. In the end, we'll drive each other to leave the potential life behind and become kinetic men.
And one of the things that David and I love most about podcasting is the incredible conversations and the advice that we get from our guests. Honestly, I truly believe it's the one thing that has made the most impact on me for my personal growth. And what you may not realize is that David and I oftentimes get a ton of free advice before and after the show, spanning from different topics between investing, parenting advice, how to create an epic marriage, health, tips and tricks, and much, much more. Unfortunately for you listeners, we've been a bit selfish and we haven't shared all of that sage advice with you guys, but that's coming to an end. Over the past 3 months, we've started to ask and record this one question to all of our podcast guests. What is the one action step that you recommend taking to level up in your business and in your personal life? And the answers have been life-changing. So the question is, would you be interested in hearing those same answers? We're calling it Leveling Up with TKM, and we want to share it with you. Only for $2 a month, you'll get 4 recorded videos every month in your inbox with those answers to the question that we just asked. And here's how you get it. Go to thekineticman.com/level up. Again, that's thekineticman.com/level up. Sign up today, get those videos, and go take uncommon action. I'm going to hit the record button right while David is trying to take a drink of water.
No,
so that way he can talk less on this podcast. Brad, the goal of this podcast is for David to talk as little as possible. Are you good with that?
I'll try to talk over him as much as I can.
All right.
Well, and Brad, the more you talk, the better. Our listeners will enjoy it more. And ideally, are we doing video yet, Stu? Because we've lost a lot of listeners when we went video because Stu's face is really detracted from any kind of messaging that we're trying to do, any kind of positive we're trying to do. His face really is a counter to that. So there's a lot of things we're working through right now. But Brad, we don't want to talk family business. We're super excited to have you on.
Yeah, I appreciate being here. Appreciate
it, man. So before we hit the record button, we were talking about David not being cool enough to be a part of your Dad's a Castle Rock group because he's over kind of on the west side of town.
Weren't you kicked out? Weren't you kicked out at one point, Stu? Didn't you get kicked out and you had to request to get back in?
It's funny you say that. So backstory on that, Brad, I don't know if Brad, you're a part of that or not, but I didn't have a Facebook page for the longest time. I kind of boycotted. We were military, we were Navy, and for the longest time.
Stop making excuses, dude. Nobody cares about why you had your
There's
wife.
A backstory.
He tied his name to his wife's. That's I'll sum it up real quick.
Yes.
He was too lazy to start his own. He tied his name to his wife's. Complete JV. That's what he did.
Yeah. That's a red flag for us. We don't allow joint accounts. It's dads and dads only, no joint.
Yeah. So that's I guess I was approved initially, but then one of you guys noticed that it was a joint account, and then I got kicked off. So it forced me to basically start my own Facebook page.
So it forced you to be an adult and have your own.
Right. Yeah.
Have your own.
You're welcome for the help.
Yeah, thanks,
to
man.
be an adult,
thanks,
to be an adult man, you had to do that in order to be part of Dad's group. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what? I absolutely love it. I'm joining today.
So all that said, Brad, hey, give us a little bit of background about who you are, what you do, and what this thing is all about that we're talking about, Dad's at Castle Rock.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Brad Langerak's my name. So I'm the vice president of board of directors for Dads of Castle Rock Community Outreach. So that's the actual 501c3 name. So Dads of Castle Rock kind of started as a Facebook group, and honestly, it started as kind of a joke. There's a Moms of Castle Rock group down here, and it was this complete mess, a bunch of women kind of bickering. And our founder, Robert Zarian, actually thought it'd be funny. It was like literally a joke. Hey, we should start a Dads of Castle Rock. So went to a mutual friend of ours, Sean Hakes, and said, hey, can you put this page together for me? So he did. And that was April, May of 2019. And, a bunch of dads just started kind of jumping on. It ended up being kind of just a fun hangout, a lot of memes and stupid guy crap in the beginning. And so we started doing that. And then a couple of us were, kind of seeing some needs in the community. And so the very first thing we did is a bait drive fundraiser to raise some money for a family that was in need. There's a tap house in town called Astor Tap. A gentleman by the name of Steve Evans. He was one of our initial guys, and that was kind of our hangout clubhouse where we kind of went. Unfortunately, we lost Steve a couple of years ago, and his business closed. But we kind of did our little bake sale there, raised some money, and started creating awareness. And then a little later, we had a little boy with cancer. Dad was a police officer, and so we wanted to raise money for that family. So did a pancake breakfast. I think we raised like $30,000 for that family. So in mid-November, a group of us got together, there's 6 of us, and we were at one of the local breweries, Burley, and we were just kind of sitting at a picnic table and said, you know what, let's take this the next step. Let's do a 501c3. And of the 6 of us sitting around, none of us had a clue how to do it. And so a day or two later, I think it was November 11th of 2019, I filed with the IRS to form our 501c3. And then it just kind of went from there. And honestly, everybody thought it was a joke. I mean, everybody was making fun of us. We started meeting at different locations, and we were meeting every single Sunday. And the board executive team started building and growing from there. And it's like I said, the guys do the joke called the Sunday morning circle jerk. Which it was a joke. And we just started pushing through and stumbled and fell and tripped, but we're like, screw it, we're gonna do this. And it was fun. So it was took a little while to get recognized and understood. But 2020, even being the C word year, COVID, we still raised $250,000, every penny of which went back into the community. So it's just blown up from there. I mean, Castle Rock is really honestly a big piece of our success. We were as soon as the city council and mayor and everybody started seeing what we're doing, the community started kind of grasping and supporting us, and that was huge. We're duplicating what we did here in other towns, helping other groups get started, and a lot of them really struggle because they don't have that town support like we do here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I want to rewind a little bit. Why? I mean, we, Stu and I started the Kinetic Man, and really a big part of the Kinetic Man is taking action, right? Which I love that you guys took action without full knowledge. And that's a critical component of making an impact, I believe. But one of the biggest things the reason we started it was community, right? It was recognizing that men were lacking real community, deep connections. And so we started this group, and it's been amazing for us and for the men in the group. And I'm just curious, what is the why behind the Dads at Castle Rock? Like, were you seeing a significant need that wasn't being met? Was it, were you seeing an epidemic, were you seeing directly this epidemic of loneliness? Like what was it that drove you guys to take action and do this?
Yeah, I mean, the start was, yes, there's, we saw some needs in the community that, need to be fulfilled. The camaraderie between guys and men, we kind of saw that a little bit. It's as you really dive deep into, today's culture and today's man, we shoulder everything, and we don't have anywhere to go with it. And we push through. Well, unfortunately, we've seen an uptick on suicide and alcoholism and all that kind of stuff. So we wanted to kind of create that environment for men to be men and have a conversation. Now we've kind of scaled it back. We had to kind of, settle a few things that was going on there. We put a little more rules and regulations in. Some people didn't like that, but some things that were getting posted on the page were kind of getting a little untasteful. So we put a couple of little rules in, but we police it, we monitor it. Police is a harsh word, but we want to make sure that things that are done in there are done in a positive manner. And we've watched men's businesses just blow up and prosper. I mean, it's been a blast. I mean, everybody that has businesses have all said that I'm successful because of Dads at Castle Rock. Through COVID, we were doing takeovers of people's businesses, and we found out business outside of Castle Rock were struggling, about ready to go out of business, and we would announce it and do a big takeover. We just throw a bunch of business out, people over at that business, and get them a bunch of money coming in to help support their business coming through. So our goal isn't just focused around helping dads, but it's helping our entire community. And then, like I said, when we grab or we see something going on in our community, we'll jump in. Last year we had a tragic accident that we lost 2 teens' lives and 2 others were injured. And, we jumped on the very next day and we started going. And within a week, we raised $100,000 for those families. It's just those. People don't ask us to do it. We just do it. We typically always try to stay focused within Castle Rock. It is kind of in our bylaws. But when the Marshall fires hit, we did the same thing. That day the fire started or the fire happened, we threw it out there and say, hey guys, we're going to go do a food and clothing drive at Sam's Club parking lot tomorrow morning. I mean, so it wasn't even 24 hours. And we had 250 volunteers and we had a line around from where we were at. It was across the parking lot into the street around the roundabout to the point that CRPD had to come out and help direct traffic for us. And it was absolutely insane. We had half dozen people, all they're doing is returning carts back to the store because people are loading carts and bringing it out. And we filled multiple trucks and trailers with supplies to bring it up to those fires. It was pretty cool. It's the impact or the response that you get is incredible. Even a cool little piece of that. This was New Year's Eve, and we set up all the trucks. We didn't even know where the hell they're going. We're reaching out to every contact we had. Who needs it? Where can we go with it? And we had a huge box truck came back. And if I saw one more case of water at that point, because I slung so many cases of water that day, I was going to have enough. And it was New Year's Eve, and my wife and I were getting ready to go to the parties. We went home, got all dressed up. We're sitting at one of our breweries, just having a beer before the party started, and Robert calls me. We got a truck coming back. They don't have anywhere to go. I'm like, you're kidding me. He said, we got to go unload it. So take a quick step back. We had some extra supplies that we didn't know where to go with. So reached out to our resources in town, and the fairgrounds opened up some space for us and say, hey, you set it up here. We'll take it. And you guys can store it here as long as you need. So those trucks come back. I'm like, crap. All right, well, I'm going to go home and change. So I guess I'm not going to my party. My wife went home with me, and we went back, and snow started coming. Robert threw it out on our Dads of Castle Rock saying, hey guys, the truck's coming back. Can you help unload? And we had no idea if it was just going to be Robert and I. And I'm talking about a big box truck, stem to stern, floor to ceiling. Truck showed up, and 50 other people showed up with us. I mean, this was a 45-minute notice on New Year's Eve, and a blizzard hit, and we had that truck unloaded in like an hour and a half. So, I mean, these people gave up their New Year's Eve to go help us. All they did is help unload a truck and just get it back into the fairgrounds for us. But, that's the group that we have. I've got countless stories of this. We had a blizzard that we got a call from a rancher that their horse got out, and a blizzard hit, got stuck in snowdrift, and they're about ready to put the horse down. And I got the call. I was sitting down for dinner, or just sitting down, and I got the call. I'm like, crap. All right, well, I put it on the page. Hey guys, here's where the horse is at. I'm heading out there right now. Again, this was we got one of those 3-foot snowstorms in March. It was one of those snowstorms. So I started heading out. I got into the rancher area, and I high centered my truck in the snow because it had so much. I called everybody off. I said, guys, stop. I said, this is not safe. It's not okay. Started getting back there, and the guys were all like, no, screw off. We're not going to let this horse die. So luckily another rancher saw me and started helping me get out and pull me out. Just then, here was an army of Dad's trucks coming over the hill. I mean, it was a cool sight. And so that rancher plowed the area to get us to the driveway of the ranch that we're heading to. Couldn't get us in because, again, so much snow. And we went and we worked so I got the call about 5. I got home at 1:30 in the morning. All of us, blinding snow. And we had guys showing up on snowmobiles, and we had, again, it was a group of guys that showed up. Guys taking coats off, their own coats off, and laying them on the horse to keep the horse warm. There's some wives that showed up too. But yeah, we got the horse in, and the horse survived. And it was a long way from that stable. So to get I don't know how much that stinking thing weighed, but it was a lot. We basically had to drag the thing, get it on tarps, and we had to physically drag this horse up into the ranch. So, like I said, it's cool. So it has created this crazy community here. You can't go anywhere without finding people that you know. My wife and I talk about it all the time that 98% of the people that she and I hang out with or see, we probably wouldn't know it if it wasn't for Dads of Cast Rock. I mean, we have so many friends here. It's crazy. But
So
it's
cool.
fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool. And you said you started it in 2019. Is that correct?
19, yeah. The page extra group started in 2019. The community outreach started. Yeah. Again, we formed late 19 is when the 501c3 was formed.
Okay. And today, how many members, so to speak, are in Dads of Castle Rock group?
So the Facebook page has a little over 2,000. For some reason, our page keeps getting shut down. We've tried every single different way to do it, but our page got shut down 3 or 4 times. And we really don't have anything bad going on in the page. I don't know why we're targeted. We no politics, no religion. Everything. If there's something happens, we try to stop it. We went for a while that we were approving posts. That we had a group of guys that's all they had to look and view and approve every post. Then we found out that that's bad as an algorithm for Facebook, because if you prove something that's wrong, now you have culpability for it. So it's like we stopped doing that. Yeah, it's been a pain. I don't know why we keep getting knocked down. At one point we were up to 3,600, and the page got shut down, and then people have to go back in and rejoin. But out of the 2,000, I would say there's only 300 that are really, really active, that do a lot of stuff. We like doing a big group photo every year, and it's, you get about 100 maybe show up. Our board exec team is 14 guys, and most of us have been in from the beginning. So, and it's like a full-time job. I mean, it's going off now. So we have a Slack thread that we have everybody set up in there. So got our board and our execs, and then everybody has kind of their roles. And it's not a typical nonprofit board. It is everybody works. Everybody's doing something. Everybody takes ownership of something. So we have an executive over our events, and then merch, and then all that kind of stuff. And then they build teams underneath them. And then, as a board exec team, we get together, come up with game plans and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I wanted to go there too. You said it's a nonprofit organization, and I asked you before the recording, like, do you take a salary from this as a board member of the nonprofit, and dive into that a little bit? I mean, this is all for charity, right?
It's 100% volunteers. Yeah. So it's we are all volunteers, and we do volunteer a lot of our time. It's one thing I do tell, so like I said, we're trying to duplicate what we're doing here in other towns, trying to just create this cool culture, this community in other towns. And it's the first thing I'll tell people. I say, guys, you have to understand this is an exorbitant amount of time, and it is really hard to build a team. Dads of Parker started a couple of years ago, and they're still struggling. I think they only have 3 people on their board exec team, and it's been 2-3 years. Having a hell of a time to get their town to get on it. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, or people are really going to toss in a towel really quickly. Like I said, we're very blessed with the group that we have, blessed with the men that are involved. We have a list that try to jump on and try to help a lot more. But yeah, so it's every penny that we come in, we have some operational costs. We would like to evolve. Robert would love one day to do this full time. We've talked that the first probably step would maybe get a part-time person to handle some of the operational crap to get off the things that we're doing. Probably would be maybe the first employee that we would have. But right now, like I said, every penny that we get in goes directly out. And then we've changed from where we were at. So we used to be benevolence based. In other words, we would allow people to reach out to us when they were in need. And then we had a whole vetting team. And the vetting team, we have people from CRPD and Douglas County Sheriff's Department, great guys that are on there that would vet every opportunity that would come, or every need that would come in. And then we would weigh those out to see if it was something we wanted to, we would help. But we learned, we capped it at $2,500 a year, and it was a Band-Aid. It really just wasn't helping more that we wanted to. So earlier this year, we went to a program based, and we created a bunch of different programs. So we have a crisis response team. We have a marriage divorce. We have financial help. We have a sober dad. So we have a few different groups. So actually, I taught a marriage class on Saturday morning. Actually, I've seen this huge uptick of divorce. So I'm like, what the hell of it? We're going to throw together a marriage class. So I taught it. It went really good. It was fun. We had, dozen and a half couples that was there. But so like the crisis response team has been working closely with Douglas County and CRPD, getting their stuff put together. And that's where we'll be able to maybe put some more money on. Life skills is another one that we do, and so instead of giving $2,500 to one person, that again is a small band-aid, we'll go hire a professional marriage counselor and pay them $1,000 to come in and teach a class, or hire a professional financial person or whatever. The crisis response team needs radios and all that kind of stuff, a lot of equipment, but this is, this will impact the community greater. This is going to help more people than just one person with that. But we are still doing, actually, our favorite event is we do Adopt a Family every year, which is, it is so cool. It is our absolute favorite thing that we do. And I don't want to call it selfishly, but it's the board exec team are the only ones that are involved in the shopping part of it, because we don't want to embarrass people. We don't want to overwhelm people by having a whole bunch of people there to say, oh, hey, look at those guys that need the help. No, we're there, and we partner with the local Walmart, who's been outstanding for us. They opened a lane just for us. We've had a couple times that they give a 10% discount on everything, and then we've had a couple times the store manager walk over and say, "Yeah, I'll take care of that one. I'll take care of that one." And so we raise money for that every year, which has been, we're usually $700-800 per family. And we pay bills. Sometimes we put tires on a car. But a lot of times they come in and shop, and said, "Okay, got it, go." They're like, what's stipulation? I said, there is none. Go grab 1-2 shopping carts, go fill it up. Get what you guys need, get your Christmas presents, get some new clothes for mom and dad. We don't care. We're not going to dictate what you do. You made it through our vetting process. We truly believe you need this help. And it's cool. A lot of tears. But it's a very cool, fun thing to be part of. But to give of oneself, and to give up your time and money and stuff is, it's a huge thing, and a lot of people struggle with it. But like I said, we got a lot of big hearts in our group.
That's a David. I know you have a question too, but one of the things that I really wanted to hit on that you just alluded to was just this idea of purpose, right? Of fulfillment. And as military guys, as Navy guys, for the longest period of time, in the military, we have a mission, we have a purpose. And I think a lot of men, specifically men transitioning out of the military, we have a lot of listeners that are in the military or getting out. They don't know what their next purpose is after serving for 20 years in the military, or 10 or 5 or 3, right? Yeah. And they don't know how to figure that out. And a lot of people think that they just need to go get a job that pays, and maybe the job will fulfill that purpose. But I'm finding that a lot of times purpose doesn't have to be about a paycheck at all, right? And you, prior to 2019, you're an entrepreneur, you're in the business world. I'm assuming that maybe that didn't fulfill your purpose, and then you guys found this. And how has that changed your life from a sense of joy and purpose and mission, now being in this world of this nonprofit?
Yeah, a lot. Like I said, like big personal changes, like I said, our friends and people that we know and stuff like that. But, it's almost, it's almost like a disease, man. You just want more. You just, because, so I've actually done more things outside even Dad's at Cast Rock, but it's fun. It does give you just a huge sense of joy. And, to watch people do this, and I'm looking at the men around my board exec team, and they don't do it. They don't get anything out of it. They don't, yes, there's joy, but, it's not, I'm going to do this for you because I'm expecting this on the backside. They do it because they want to help. They do it because they truly, truly, genuinely want to help people. And again, I see the amount of hours that, these men put into this thing, without any pay, anything, in the back. We don't promote if there's any of us that own businesses, they don't get extra promotions because you're on the board exec team. They just do it because they love, they have the passion to give. And like I said, it's infectious that you start seeing that elsewhere, that people start giving more, and you start seeing that kind of, spread throughout our community. So it's I have a sense of pride to be part of this group. And yeah, just the fulfillment of joy. And, to your point with the military, and thank you guys both for your service. We have a lot of military guys in our group, and it does that. I have a couple of very, very close friends, and, they, people that come out of the military need that brotherhood, and that's what Dads of Castle Rock has created for a lot of these guys. Now there's a lot of little smaller subset groups. Like I said, we got the Sober Dads. I actually created, it's not connected to Dads of Castle Rock, but I started Godly Men of Castle Rock, and I facilitated men's group Bible study, and talking to these guys one-on-one, and it's just like, I need this, because I was so longing for that brotherhood, to find true men that I can lean on and account on and turn to when I'm hurting or struggling. And that's what this really turns to. It's cool when, you see one person, and it's somebody that doesn't even, post a whole lot, or, active that or not, but they'll just drop it on there. I need help. And it's just a flood of guys that have no idea who this guy is. We have a gentleman that, his daughter and wife has to go to Minnesota for the next couple of months for bone marrow transplants. Terrible. And he's an amazing man, but he's just not overly active. He's busy, just like we all are. And he put something on there. There's probably 300 comments, because guys like, I'm going to be here without my wife and my kid, and 300 guys are like, calling me. I don't know you. You don't know me. Here's my phone number. You need to get out and you need to talk. Whatever you need, let us know. You want to come over and have a meal with us or whatever. It's that kind of stuff that you start seeing out of this thing that is just outstanding. And it just gives you this awesome sense of pride to be part of this group, to see these men stand up and help each other to a degree of opening up your home to a complete stranger. And like I said, the different options or opportunities and things that have happened over the last 3-4 years is just, I could go on and on about examples like this of, men helping men. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. We're, both Stu and I, in preparation for an upcoming podcast, are reading a book called Taking Stock, and it's Jordan Grummett writes about, basically he's a hospice doc, and he writes about the lessons that he learned from people at the end of life. And one of the things that I just was reading through was, he talks about Maslow's pyramid and pyramid of needs, and how you should really look at that, kind of flatten it and achieve, not do like when then thinking, like once my basic needs are met, then I can step up the pyramid and step up to this top, the pinnacle. He's like, no, the people that are most happy, the people that have really figured out, it's more of a spiral, right? It's you're doing all the things. You don't have to have a certain amount of money in order to live a life of purpose. You don't have to have a certain need met in order to then decide you want to cultivate relationships. So you should be doing all these things and really flatten that. So I love how you said that, because it is very indicative of that type of lifestyle, right? You move from recognizing that all those needs are needs, and not to kind of work through, because typically what happens, you work through them, you get to end of life, and you're like, man, the whole top half of the pyramid, I've never even addressed that. I've got no friends. I'm by myself. Right. And so I love how you hit on that and the additional language behind that. I'm just curious, why dads? This could have been the helpers group of Castle Rock. This could have been the collective people of amazing giving of Castle Rock. Like, why dads of Castle Rock?
Well, like I said, it started as a joke. That's Dads of Castle Rock Facebook page started as a joke. And, like I said, we just kind of started doing some things together, and it just kind of evolved into that nonprofit. And so we actually do have, because there was moms and then there was bad moms, and they were all a mess. So we actually started Wives of Dads of Castle Rock, believe it or not. So they're kind of a leg of ours. So we do have that as well. And it is a lot of our wives from the board exec team. They kind of help run that, but they help us with a lot of ours, and they do their own thing. So they do food drives, meal trains and stuff like that for people in need. So either we'll bring them or they'll find it themselves, and that's turned into a really good group as well. Same thing, the women can kind of lean on each other, and then they jump in. So if we do, one of our biggest fundraisers, we do a big golf tournament every year, and they help run that. They do a lot of the work there. So they'll get into a lot of our big events and help. And then they do their own kind of events, and they'll get to little get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. But with the dads, like I said, it's just it started as a joke and it just kind of evolved from there. And we just never deviated from it because it's, but we get our kids involved because we are a 501c3. Kids need volunteer hours for high schoolers. So we sign off on those papers all the time. We have a adopted highway area that we'll go out and clean, but we'll get the kids involved where they can as much as we possibly can.
So the kids are the wives of the dads of Castle Rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like
so
it.
I mean, we've even created bumper stickers for our kids' cars, daughter of Dad's of Castle Rock,
Nice.
son of Dad's of Castle Rock. And the joke behind that is we put it on there, we tell our kids, hey, if you ever have problems, this is kind of like a beacon that, and it's already happened. We literally had a daughter that get in a car accident, and another dad who had no idea who this daughter was or who the dad was saw that sticker, and he immediately pulled over and helped her and stayed with her and consoled her, until her dad got there, and was able to get it on the group saying, hey, come over here. I mean, and the dad of the daughter was so grateful that the guy was there. On the backstory of that, with me with two teenage daughters, one, the youngest, about to drive, it's also a beacon of saying, hey, if you see this car doing dumb stuff, let me know. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to tell my daughter that, but
all the boys are taking off the sons of, because as we all know, we're a bunch of knuckleheads, especially in the car. Yeah,
exactly. So, but I want to talk. One thing that you touched on was just talking about, hey, I'm on the top, and blah blah blah. I recently took a job. Like I am an entrepreneur, and I have a couple of different things. And I had a sizable company that was trying to get me to take over as president of their company. They wanted me to scale it to get it ready to grow. And after 6 months of saying no, I finally got to the point I said yes. And then I truly found out who the owner was or how he was. And he was a huge narcissist. And all he cared about is wallet. And all he cared about is beating down everybody he can possibly beat down to get to the top. And I ended up resigning from that position because it was very toxic. But that was, something that just kind of dawned on me. And I said it to him point blank, is like, I could care less how thick my wallet is, because I don't take that with me at the end of this world. What's important to me is the impact I make on this planet. If I can make a huge impact on one person or one extra person, that's really truly matters. That's what you can take with you. Is it's not how fat my wallet is, it's how many seats are full at my funeral. That to me is the most important thing. And yeah, as an entrepreneur, I would love to be successful, and I work hard to do that. I'm not there yet, but we're still working at it. But even with that, something happens, my wife and I've talked about my main business is software. If I ever get to a point that I can sell that thing, it's going to be a good amount of money. That's a lot of it's going to be donated. My kids don't need that much. I don't want to hand my kids that kind of lifestyle. It's you give to others where it needs to be given. But again, that's the fulfillment. So that's how I want to live my life. When I go, it's about the impact I made. And if I can make this, if I can leave this world a better place, however that may be, then that makes me happy. There's my fulfillment.
You get to those pearly gates and you're told, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Amen.
We talk a lot about redefining success. What truly is success? You hit on, we all want to be successful, but I think a lot of people just think that success is having a lot of money and, having a lot of fancy toys and big houses and stuff like that. And we think that success can be defined a whole lot differently. And leaving the world a better place and serving and doing good for other people. I think that's a better definition of success.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so easy to get wrapped up in this world and of this world. And unfortunately it's, with our society, the culture today, it's, social media and everything is of this world. And it's so hard because it's drilled into us, and even worse, it's drilled into our kids. It started at a younger age, and hard to pull them away from that materialistic need and feel and the entitlement. Everything's about me and what I get or what I want. It's hard to break your kids from it, and it's hard to break adults from it. I run across situations every single day, and it's like, why are you so focused on yourself? Why you're so focused on what you get. And, we all fall into that. Trust me. I've had it that I see another business. It's like, oh man, he's not really a good dude. Why is he so successful? I mean, honestly, I mean, let's face it. You have those
Yeah.
thoughts every once in a while. It's like, hey, idiot, you got a great life. What do you complain about? Why don't compare yourself over here? Keep plugging forward with the things that, like you said, it's what truly is important. What is truly successful in life is that the friendships, the love, the family that you have. Going to bed every single day and closing your eyes, knowing that you spent your time that day the best you possibly could to help others, not to, again, better yourself or not better yourself, but, you know, do things for yourself. We all want to better ourselves. Obviously that's a very important part as well. But yeah, you're right. That's how you go. That's how you go away, wealthy. Wealth to me is completely different. It's not money.
That's right. Hey, you mentioned before our recording that there are other dads of cities out there, and that you helped start Dads of Colorado. You've helped other states, other cities out of state start their own group. You've mentioned that some have been more successful than others. Could you just expand on why is one successful versus not successful, and two, what someone listening to this who gets fired up about it and wants to start their own Dads of Lakewood, Colorado, or wherever, right? How do they get going? How do they start?
Yeah. So we actually started. We had a very big, and again, it's a bunch of dumb dads who don't know what the hell we're doing with a nonprofit. But we were like, hey, let's start a Dads of, and we actually copyrighted it, trademarked it, and said we'll do it globally. Let's go across the country. And so we hired a consultant. We're meeting every single week or hours a week and trying to figure out how we can actually franchise this and turn it into a business, and then create the same concept elsewhere, because it's so amazing, and we wanted to share that. And so we started doing that for a while, and we realized we were kind of bit off a little more than we could chew, because we're already busy with Dads of Castle, obviously our families, our work, and all that kind of stuff. And we're like, okay, well, we need to take a step back. So then there is a Dads of Long Island City that started. There's one in Florida. I can't remember what the city is, but there's one down in Florida now. But then we kind of scaled back. So we started Dads of Colorado. And so Dads of Colorado was actually a proving ground, kind of where we can find the next Robert Ziering, find that person that can kick this thing off and really, grow the team and where it's at. So we use that as kind of, hey, let's keep an eye out who's there. If somebody goes on there and starts making a lot of comments, hey, I would love to do this here. So we've got Dads of Broomfield, Dads of Littleton. So we've got a few others. There's a Dads of Highland Ranch that we're trying to get kicked off right now. But the successful ones, the ones that have actually started, Dads of Parker, Dads of Tri-Lakes. I'm missing a couple of them. But we've got a couple of them that have now kicked off. Dads of Elbert County. So we've got a few that have actually started, and they're doing well. And it's cool to kind of see. So like Elbert County, we've got a bunch of ranchers over there. So, a lot of their needs are, hey, I got a cow that got loose, and we go help round this thing up and get it in there. So it's a little different, different needs over there in a kind of more rural area. But, so we're starting to scale this up. But, so what they have to do is they really have to reach out to either Robert or myself, and get a hold of one of us and say, hey, I'm interested in, and then we'll sit down and we'll have a few meetings, because A, we don't want somebody to start this unless they're really, truly invested. B, like I said, I am very open and honest that, look, guys, this is a ton of work. A lot of time. And if you can't get community buy-in, it's not going to be successful. If you can't, build a team behind you and get equal-minded, like-minded people that are willing to donate and give their time to others, to a bunch of strangers, it's not going to be successful. The one thing that really makes us successful, and I'll say it time and time again, is this town. It's not us. It's not the dads. It's not the people behind us. This town adopted us very quickly, even during a COVID time, because again, 2020 is our first full year. Even with that, with all this crap that was going on, we were still accepted by this town. And again, it took a little time, but they accepted us and loved on us. And we've been on a lot of the parades that we're in. They're down here, the Douglas County parades, and man, it's you can tell you how awesome it feels as you're going through this parade and people are standing up and giving us a standing ovation as we walk through, screaming, "I love you, dads!" It's awesome. I mean, just to feel that outpouring. So yeah, so we're trying to, like I said, we're trying to get these going elsewhere to try to help people get these going. But they got to understand, like I said, it's not, hey, I've got, I got 1 or 2 hours a week that I can probably give. Now it's 1, 2, 3 hours a day is what you're looking at to get this going, especially at the beginning. So what I tell them, I said, start the Facebook page first, build that page up. And then when you get about 1,000 members on there, then start saying, okay, hey, we're going to turn this into 501c3, but start with the Facebook page. You got to get the audience first. You got to get a name out, create a name, create an identity, and then evolve it from there. But we do have trademark and copyright on all this stuff. So we do want people coming in. And again, we've already done all the hard work. Let us help you form everything. We've got all the bylaws and rules, regulations, everything. We've, again, stumbled and fell and scraped our knees 100 times before we got to where we're at today. And again, we're still making changes. Like I said, it's just earlier this year that we went from benevolence to program based. It's just a better format, and it works better really for the community.
That's awesome, man. You got me fired up. My mind has started wandering on. So Stu and I think we're blessed. It's a double-edged sword, but we're very much connectors. We love to connect people and we love to take action. And so my mind, I've started crafting the email once this episode comes out to a number of dudes I'm going to send it to and be like, hey, are you guys interested in running this Dads of Lakewood with me? Is there a Dads of Lakewood yet?
There's not. No, there was one they were working on trying to start it, but I don't know how far he got. They need some
military guys. They need some military guys up in there to make it happen. No, I love it. Real quick before, I know we're running short on time. What is the long-term vision? Like, what is how are you, we talked about success earlier. You guys talked about redefining success. A lot of people, Stu and I are very, very active in pushing people away from looking at numbers. I find numbers to be very arbitrary. I want 1 million dude Facebook group. Okay, awesome. What kind of impact does that make? Like, what are you specific trying to do? Want to make this much money, I want to raise this much money. A lot of those numbers are I think relatively inconsequential, but they're also good measuring sticks. So I'm curious, how are you measuring future success and future vision? And what is if you've laid it out, if you don't mind sharing that with us, what are you looking at? What does a long-term dads of look like?
Yeah. So, I'm very much somebody that's very, very structured. So I kind of manage our board meetings and stuff. And so, I love, there's an operating system called EOS. It's Entrepreneur Operating System. Love it to death. I use it for every business and I recommend it to everybody. So I've adopted that into it. So you had to do your VTO, your vision traction organizer, and you're looking at the 1 year, 3 year, 10 year, stuff like that. So we have that outlined out. And the measurables are, obviously how many are dads at Castle Rock, but we do have a dads at Castle Rock community outreach page that's open to everybody. So that's another measurable as far as, okay, where are we at? And then we've been looking at other platforms to get on other platforms. We are on most other social media platforms, but they're really not going anywhere. And then, yes, it's how much money we bring in, so all those measurables are kind of there. And then again, our long-term goal is having full-time people or part-time people on. So those are all part of measurables as well, is either having, actually salaried people are working for the organization. And then like I said, what we're trying to do is get this point that we're franchised, that people are all under our 501c3. So instead of Dads at Parker getting their own, now they have, and we help them get to that point because we weren't ready to franchise, but we get them set up and then they pay a percentage of what they raise up to X to us annually for everything that we've set up for them and them to operate underneath our 501c3. So that's, really the big long-term vision. That's kind of where it's at. We really want to, grow this to a point, because again, if I can get, Robert full-time or whatever, then he can actually go to Lakewood and go meet with a group of guys there instead of, right now it takes forever. Dad's at Highland Ranch is trying to get on. We're back and forth and months goes by as they're trying to get it. Go up there and actually sit in, we're not sitting in many of their meetings. I've sat in a couple of Parker ones, but we want to go sit in their board meetings and help and guide and direct and stuff like that so they can truly do this. And we can't do that with where we're at now. We can't do that with full-time family, full-time jobs. And Dads at Castle Rock is pretty full-time. So that's where I want to go. So yeah, the cool thing is as you grow in age as a 501c3, you get recognized by more corporations. So you can start getting some of that corporate money. So that's another group that we have, is that we have a whole group that's there reading out their grants group. So they're trying to hit the grants. So you're trying to get some of the big money grants so we can, hopefully have our own facility. Right now we partner with different, local companies. Like Burley Brewing is one of our partners, and so we meet there. I have a key to the brewery, so we go in and we do a lot of our meetings there. And we have a lot of other places. We same thing. We'll meet at their facilities. They let us, meet there and stuff like that. But it'd be great to have our own, because I couldn't tell you how many people I've counseled over the last year or two. I don't know, because Robert loves telling me, give me crap about being old. I'm only 50, but I get a lot of crap from them. I don't know, because they think I'm an older one, that they lean on me, but I counsel a lot of people, whether it's business or personal. And we've had guys that literally almost throw a suicide note on the page. And so we, assemble, and everybody goes, finds that guy and grabs him and needs to go talk to him. Well, it'd be nice to have our own facility to be able to do that. Instead of trying to find, just somewhere private that we can grab this person and go talk. So like I said, there's a lot of vision. It's moving there. Like I said, the longer we're a 501c3, the better. I mean, once we're 5 years, the law is that you can do raffles. Well, raffles are a great way to make good money. Hell, you can go buy a car and raffle it off and make $20,000 profit on that. So it's a really cool. So we're all excited about the once we're in our 5th year, be able to do raffles, because that's going to make it a lot easier to raise money. Because we only have a couple big events that we do a year that is our big money maker. Otherwise, it's private donors or grants and stuff like that. Or if something happens, we'll do a call out at that time. Like I said, if a tragedy hits, then we'll say, hey, guys, we're raising money for X.
Yeah, I love it, man. What's so awesome is, a couple years ago, you and some other buddies, sitting around having a beer, and you guys just decided to take action, and didn't know what you're doing, but figured it out. And now you guys are serving the community and making a huge impact in your city, and you're motivating others to do the same elsewhere. And I love it, man. For our listeners, how do they, if this motivated them and they want to talk to you about getting going and getting started, how do they reach out to you? Where's the best place to find you?
So you can, if you find Desert Cast Community Outreach, you can actually send through Messenger there, because that is a Facebook page. Obviously you're in Castle Rock, you can find it there. My email is just brad.langerak at docrco.org. So Desert Cast Rock Community Outreach .org. So it's, like I said, brad.langerak. So, and then all of our emails are that way. So like Robert would be robert.zering at docrco.org. So you can hit us on email at any time. And like I said, it's the Facebook page is probably the easy way of doing it. Like I said, you have to be in Castle Rock. You've got to be a dad to be on the Dads of Castle Rock page. We do have it open. You can either live or work in Castle Rock. So we kind of open up a little bit there. But like I said, the community outreach page is fully open. People can join any time there. And then, like I said, Dads of Colorado. Jump on that one. If you're in Colorado and you're a dad, jump on there, join it. And, again, on there, you can hit Messenger, and that goes to, it's just the Dads of Castle Rock guys are managing that as well. A smaller group of us, but managing that as well. So that's another easy way to get a hold of us.
I love it, man. Well, we'll put those links in the show notes of this episode. Cool. And again, man, love what you're doing. Appreciate you jumping on with us. It motivated me. I know David said, it's motivating him to make more of an impact and get out there. Goody, you got anything else?
No, thanks, Brad. Really appreciate it. Love the community aspect. One of the things that in the list of things Stu is highlighting that you're doing for the community, there's also one thing that just really hit me. You're also providing an avenue for men to find purpose and for men to serve. So very selfishly, we always say it, half the time we start a business that is community focused, it's really very selfish, because we get fed so much through the community. And so I absolutely love what you're doing. You're blessing so many dudes and their families, and that impact just continues to build. And as a man of faith, I say this to a number of our guests that are just people of faith. You will not realize the true blessing and the true extent, the true reach of everything you're doing until you get to heaven. And that's going to be a beautiful, amazing day, because it's there are people that are not reaching out, that lives that have been saved that you just have no clue about. And it's generational, right? It's generational. And so God bless you, brother. Absolutely love it. And just honored to have you on the podcast, and looking forward to moving forward with you and helping build communities, especially in our in men and with dads to really grow and make an impact and achieve the purpose that we really were created to achieve. So love it, dude. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate you.
Appreciate both of you guys. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, man. Guys and gals, reach out to Brad. Check out Dads of Castle Rock. Check out Dads of Colorado. And if you're elsewhere in another state, hey, start it. Reach out to Brad and start something locally. Make an impact. Take uncommon action and be better for it.
Amen.
See you. Hey, before we let you go and tackle the day, we wanted to tell you about a new product coming out called The Manifesto. It's a newsletter. It's free. It comes out twice a month. And we give actionable steps, insights, and inspiration to help you on your journey to becoming a better man. We aim to be the highest value per minute email in your inbox every time. So go check it out. You can go to thekineticman.com/newsletter. Again, that's thekineticman.com/newsletter, and sign up for the manifesto. It is going to be awesome. See you.
Thank you for listening to the Kinetic Man podcast. If you are growth-minded, community-focused, and willing to take uncommon action to redefine success and live an abundant life, visit our website at www.thekineticman.com to see all the ways we can connect.
Yeah, and on our website, you can find more information on everything we're doing, like joining our meetup page to get the details on our webinars and our local Thursday gatherings here in Colorado. From our site, you can also find more information on and sign up for the next Kinetic Man retreat and the next house of our mastermind group. Finally, we always appreciate your love and support. Please share this episode and go rate us on your favorite podcast player of choice.
Thank you again. Now go take uncommon action.